The day that SMU announced your hiring, you sort of famously said, we're going to play man defense and we're going to pick the other team up at the airport, basically. Now that you've had a chance to get a good glimpse at your players and what you're working with, is that still the system you envision playing?
I lied. I didn't mean to. We will very quickly. I don't know if it'll happen this year. We simply don't have a lot of depth to do that. So generally when you are aggressive defensively and do pick up early, you have a tendency to get maybe in foul trouble. So it's great to have depth, which is something I love, because I want every kid that comes to the game expecting to play. And the faster you play, the longer the game seems to be, and the best able to utilize your bench. But we don't have great depth, and so we might not have to have the ability to play as fast and pressure as much. But I promise in the future we will. And the kids we're recruiting now have that ability. Whether we can get them to come to SMU or not is another issue, but players that we're looking at are the kind that can play the way we feel most comfortable teaching and coaching, and that's exactly what I meant at the press conference.
One of your biggest accomplishments in your career was winning the national championship at Kansas, and now you get to coach against and recruit against your star player, Danny Manning. What's that going to be like for you?
Well, I'm going to be proud. You know, I got to coach against him when he played professionally. I got to coach him actually as a professional coach with the Clippers, but coaching against him was difficult because I wanted to see him do well, but I wanted to see us win. Now coaching against him, I'm convinced he's going to do well. I'm convinced he's going to be every bit as good a coach as he was a player, and we're talking about arguably as good a college player as we ever had in our sport. So I'm not looking forward to coaching against him, but I'm looking forward to him being a head coach. It's been a big part of my life, and I'm excited about the opportunity he has.
Have you walked through in your mind the conversation with recruits where you can actually tell a kid, don't go play for Danny Manning?
I would never say that. I tell them all, if Tulsa's interested, that's a great choice, and I mean that. Just like if I was recruiting a kid that could go to Kansas or Kentucky or North Carolina or Maryland or Colorado, they're all people I'm involved with. But I look around the landscape of college, there's so many coaches that I have a relationship that are at other schools. I would never be upset if they went other places. Our job is to sell our program and want them to play at SMU because we are a great school, we are in a great conference, we are in a great city, and without being offensive to John or any of these other guys, I think we can coach as well as anybody.
So much, since you got hired, so much has been made about your legacy, your career, your record, both in college and in the NBA, that expectations have gotten pretty high around SMU. What are realistic expectations for this year's team?
That we get better, that we play the right way, that we play hard, that we play unselfishly, and we're fun to watch. And wins and losses will take care of themselves. Everywhere I've gone but Detroit, the teams had losing records, didn't have a lot of success. In the case of UCLA and Kansas, there were some bumps in the road prior to us getting there. And even when I went back to coach at North Carolina, we were taking over some difficult situations. But we went to 4 Final Fours in 9 years. When you mention UCLA, Kansas, Kentucky, North Carolina, You mentioned three of the greatest programs in the history of our sport. You mentioned SMU. You can talk about football, and there's unbelievable success. You talk about basketball. Our success was in the Southwest Conference. Kids don't even understand that. But we can change that quickly, and that's our goal. So I just want the community and the students to get involved with SMU basketball. And I want kids in Texas to want to go to school here. That's what we're hopeful to accomplish.